What is going on, Movie Meals? Who are you? You're not Kyle. Get
I'm
out
not.
of
Nope.
here. Oh, is this the Get Back guys? Oh no, that's the
I know.
sports podcast we do. You should go check that out. At the Get Back guys. But we're here for something that's very different than sports. Depending, I guess, on what show you're watching. But
Yeah,
I
unless you're
brought
watching
over
IQ.
I brought over my brother, Annie Essays himself. Go check him out on YouTube. This man does full on weeb. He does everything. He's got vlogs. He's talking the greatest of the greatest shows I've never heard of because I'm not that deep in it. Or shows he's trying to bully me into watching.
Always.
But he introduced me to a little show called Demon Slayer
Little show. Yep.
last year, and I was blown away by Demon Slayer. I remember being just absolutely captivated by the animation. I am a big believer. I preach this so much. I'm a big believer that there's no war between sub or dub. It is a preference, and it's okay to like either or. The dubs have gotten light years better than even they were 5 years ago. And I actually remember really loving the sub before Demon Slayer. Like I was actually for once like I don't know if I want to watch the dub because I love this sub so much. I ended up watching the dub eventually, rewatched it before the movie here that we're gonna get to in a second. But I ended up really liking the dub. That's what I ended up going to see in the theater. Which one did you see?
Yeah, we also saw dub because we went with my girlfriend, one of the roommates, and he only watches in dub. So we went and saw it there, and I've watched the show on both as well.
So we are here for Demon Slayer, Mugen Train. Did I say that right? Mugen Train?
Yeah, Mugen Train, I think, but
We
I could be
always butcher
wrong.
names here, but
Yeah.
before we get really into this spoiler heavy review for Demon Slayer, um, thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Steve, Kimberly, and Karen. If you're not a member of the Patreon, go join and be a member of the Patreon. And head on over to Annie Essays. Go watch some of his amazing anime stuff and go join his Patreon. Just give out some support
It's
all
true.
around. Give out some
Always.
love. Everything will be linked in the description. His channel, everything will be there. Twitters and things like that. And also go get some Movie Meal merch, also linked in the description. We got some cool stuff. Stuff's gonna be coming that'll be gone, discontinued here within a month or so as we drop some new things. So please
Really?
be on the lookout for that. But let's get into it. Demon Slayer, Mugen Train. I'll let you take the Kyle lead here, Nick. What were your overall positive thoughts? We like to do positives around here, but we can spoiler
Oh,
review,
there's
so
a lot of
we
them.
can go off the cuff here. But what did you like about the
Yeah.
movie? Did you
I
like it?
mean, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I think for people, obviously, it's kind of a different anime movie than we see often because it is canon in the
Mm-hmm.
series. It's not like My Hero Academia that isn't canon. So the stakes matter here, which is really exciting, and it takes place literally like seconds after the show ends, which
I
is pretty
mean,
different.
yes.
Immediately,
I mean, they even just
yeah,
re-show you a little bit of the show,
yeah,
the
it's
final
true.
moments.
And it leads right into the next season that's been announced. So it's just like a smushed together like 6 episodes basically, which I loved. And so if you go in, I think thinking of it that way is just like watching an arc. I think it's makes it a lot better because there's things that if you thought about it as a standalone, obviously that's not what it's meant to be. And if you look at it that way, it's going to be far worse. But yeah, I mean the clearest thing I think here is the animation. I mean, this literally might be some of the best animation I've ever seen. It was that good, I thought. And UFO Table's the studio, and obviously they've done an amazing job. Same studio that did the anime, but that was kind of the thing that stands out to me the most is just how good the art direction is. How amazing! I didn't think they could upgrade the animation that they had for like episode 19 of the anime, but they just easily did throughout almost the entirety of this movie. And then I think the other big highlights are really there's 2 moments that put this kind of movie and arc above what I thought, that made it more than just a good movie. And that was when they're kind of all in their consciousness and they're in their happiest moments. Everything that happens there, specifically with Rengoku, the Fire Hashira, and Tanjiro, our main character, I thought developed them in a really nuanced way and really subtle way. And then, of course, the final battle. And I can't remember the demon that Rengoku fights, but that final battle is probably one of my favorite fights I've seen in the last couple of years. And so those two kind of sequences of the movie, I think, really took it from just being kind of a fun popcorny, know, uh, anime flick to something a little bit more than that. So those were my main positives and the two things that I kind of took away from it. What about
Apologize,
you?
I'm having microphone troubles at the moment here. Bouncing
No,
off my
it's all good.
AirPods from my Yeti here, like it's nobody's business. Um, well, I'll just tinker with that when you talk again here. But I really loved the movie. I'm with you. I was watching when I remember watching the movie, sitting there thinking to myself, um, like, man, this for a second, I was like, this feels a little rushed. We're rushing a lot. And then I sat back and went, wait a minute. This is manga. This is canon. This is 6 episodes packed into one. Would I be saying this if I was
Yeah,
watching this in in a month and a half? And I was like, no, I would not be. So this is awesome. And I just immediately, like, it had happened pretty quick. That thought came and went fast. Um,
yeah.
but I really really enjoyed it. Especially, I'm with you on the subconscious. I really really liked it. The only little nitpick negative I actually have is the other two subconscious, how do you say, I don't even know. But
Just yeah, I don't know either.
I just didn't find their jokes, because both of those were played more as jokes, as
Hmm.
funny. Um, where normally I find those two very funny, and I really found them funny through most of the movie. It was just that one moment I wasn't 100% on board. But the subconscious stuff was
Interesting.
cool. It was beautiful. I really love. I mean, we're getting all spoilers here. I really, really loved Tanjiro's subconscious. The guy who went in there, and that he just that Tanjiro is such a kind person, that even someone trying to kill him, in his subconscious, he's helping. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's like, that is, this, I tell this to people all the time. This is an incredibly simple story. It's a simple
Oh yeah.
story, and it gets a lot of flack for, it's only great for its animation, and it should deserves the praise for its animation. Its animation is
Yeah.
like wall paintingly beautiful.
Yeah.
And I
Some of the
thought the
best
animation
animation
was,
you will find.
yes, I think it is just that freaking good.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, it is a simple story, but there are a lot of simple stories that get told in a little bit different, a little bit more unique way, that actually end up being a nice, refreshing telling. And that's what this is. This is a revenge story, and a story about a boy just wanting to save his sister. He just wants to
Yeah.
save the only family he has left. We've seen that a million times, but it's an interesting, unique take on it. And the train
Yeah.
arc was great. I did think maybe at times the CGI gets a little bit goofy, especially with the
With the
change of the train.
train.
But
Yeah.
overall, I thought that was fine, because and when that fight ended, I was like, all right, I was like, that was epic, but it wasn't as epic as I was
Uh,
expecting for an anime movie.
I had the exact same thing. I was like, there. I was like, that's it.
Exact
I was like, it was good. I liked that subconscious moment, but other than that, like I thought we'd get something bigger, and then just out of nowhere,
Yes,
this other demon shows up, and everything from that point on was just like, oh my god,
I'm a
you
hundred
know.
percent with you there. I loved it. And because I remember thinking back to the, you tossed out My Hero Academia, thinking of the movie we saw there, which a movie I really enjoyed. It kind of teased some of what's coming up, or what's currently airing,
Yeah.
um but it had like a big moment, and then it was like, no, we have a bigger moment. And give My Hero whatever you want, flack or praise, but it tends to deliver its big moments, to have some cool epic punching moments, some old school DBZ type, big moments. And I was like, where is that? And then the demon shows up out of nowhere. He's an
Yeah.
upper rank.
And he's
He's
way
usually top
stronger.
3. And
Yeah. Third, I think. Yeah.
him fighting Rengoku was just incredible,
Yeah.
because we were like, this is supposed to be one of the best Hashira, and he's kind of holding his own, but he's
But
also
like not
not
really. He
really.
almost,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it was, and him saying, like, why don't you become a, like, I really like that aspect of a take on a demon who's like, why don't you become a demon so we can fight forever? Like, I want to live forever because I want to
Yeah.
constantly, he's basically Goku. He just wants to, well, he's the new version
Well,
of Goku
yeah.
that
I mean, I got some like Yu Yu Hakusho vibes actually from that moment
ooh, that's a good play.
of he of one person having a different perspective on power, and just like the only reason to have it is to get like the adrenaline of fighting, versus
Yeah.
the other person who has it and only wants to use it to protect other people, to use it selflessly. And that's kind of the main difference between what a demon and what humans are throughout the show. And that scene also was made infinitely more tragic, I think, because of
Of
when
the
you see
subconscious.
the subconscious of Rengoku. That's supposed to be his happiest moment, and he's telling his dad that he's become a Hashira, and his dad just does not care. His dad's just
Yeah.
mean to him, and like that is it's not flat out spoken, but everyone knows that it's just such a heartbreaking thing that is, this guy on the outside is the happy, joyous guy, but on the inside there's just this burning rage because he's never really had a truly happy moment in his life, if that's the happiest thing,
Yeah.
of him telling his brother like it's gonna be okay and things, and then telling his dad, and his dad just kind of rejecting it. It made that entire fight sequence just even more tragic. And I think that's a lot of the subtlety of what Demon Slayer does. Is it's like, this is a basic story, but it showed the tragedy of this just like super energetic dude so subtly and so impactfully throughout this narrative, that's what really raised this story above for me, this movie.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it plays even more so with, that being the happiest moment of his life, and then when he dies, he says to, Tanjiro, like, "Hey, my brother, this happened with my brother, he's training, he's doing this, whatever, go find him." Um, and I think when you think of that happiest moment, it's like, for him, it was his happiest moment because he achieved what he thought would give him praise, it didn't. And then
Yeah.
he gets to have the conversation with his brother, and he tells his brother, hey, don't give up. And really, I felt leaving the theater that was his happiest moment, was getting that
Yeah.
conversation with his brother, and to tell him that no matter what happens, don't give up and things like that. But um I loved it, and the fact that we got to see it on the big screen was
Yeah.
amazing, because that fight was so powerful. And not only, the thing that works is everything you were just saying is what Tanjiro feels. He's smart enough
Mhm.
to understand what he's fully going through and how strong he is, and some of the pain that he's got in there. He saw a little bit of those moments, and one of my favorite moments of the whole movie is when he throws the sword and
Yeah.
hits him. And first of all, I was like, how the heck is Tanjiro going to get his sword back? I
Yeah.
guess we're going to make him another one after just getting
Yeah.
a new one. But I thought of that, but then him just screaming and crying and saying, "You're a coward. You have to run. You're not endlessly powerful. The sun takes you out."
Yeah.
Like I really, really loved that moment. It was maybe, and then his death was just so epic, and
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
just, it was such an enjoyable film. And do you have any other thing you want to touch on here?
no, I mean, I just think, yeah, I think the only negative I had too was a little bit of the humor. I actually liked, what's the sleep guy's name? Uh,
Oh, that demon.
Zanet's, no, his friend, the orange suit friend who falls
Oh,
asleep.
Zenitsu.
Yeah. I actually liked his like subconscious, because it's like where this insane person who gives him all this power is just like in a dark room just like going crazy. So I thought the humor worked pretty well for him. It's the
Liked him
boar.
more than Boar Boy.
Yeah, his didn't quite hit. Some of the jokes of his didn't quite hit. Those are kind of my biggest negatives. But even like something like the demon showing up at the end of the movie, like if you think about it as a movie, that would have been a criticism of mine, that like, oh, we didn't get any real build up to this guy coming. But when you think about it as a longer story, and having an entity like that just show up that kind of exists, but you don't exactly who it is, I think it has far more impact. And so like thinking about it that way, I love it, versus if it was just a self-contained 2-hour movie, I wouldn't love it as much. And said now it's one of my favorite moments of the movie
Yeah,
for
and I
sure.
liked the lower tier demon. I thought
I thought it was good
it was a
too.
simple anime villain. We've seen him a million times. I mean, that's
And
just
it
Hisoka and Hunter x Hunter. Like, it's a similar
yeah.
type character.
And it really
Um,
just highlighted the valley of difference that Tanjiro, could basically beat this guy, and Tanjiro doesn't stand close to Rengoku, and then Rengoku doesn't even stand close to this other demon who's in that upper echelon that the train demon was trying to get to. Like, it just really showed just how much of a threat these demons really are, and I thought it
yeah,
worked really well for that.
and he uh now was the spider was lower half, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, because I know that, but he was ranked higher than the train and the people that
I
died in the
think
show.
actually no, I think the train was ranked higher than the spider in episode 19.
Yeah, okay, because I
Yeah.
felt that Tanjiro had a little bit easier time beating him, but then again, the weapon that he had that put an edge over with his fire dance, with his dad's move, was a surprise to him. So now he should be a little bit
Yeah.
stronger
And
because
he
now he
had
knows how to use
more
it.
he had
More
the
help.
beast guy helping him as well. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know why I'm
wasn't
forgetting his
alone.
name. Aaron Yeager's voice actor. Fun fact for you.
Eden Yeager.
Yeah.
Anybody do that in your theater?
No, I should have
I
though.
thought about it though. I almost did, but there was like
Yeah.
nobody in my theater because it was just such
Oh.
a small town. But I thought about it. But
Yeah.
the I think too though, because I can't remember the character's name, but the one who brought Tanjiro into everything, our other water boy,
Mm-hmm.
he beat the spider guy pretty easily. Granted, he had already
Yeah.
been through a pretty intense fight, and I'm curious what the real ranking of these guys are, because
Of
I
the
don't actually
Hashira
we don't
are.
actually know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean they're all just kind of on a similar playing field, I feel like. Um
that's my thought too, but I'm
uh,
just kind of curious. Do any of
but I'm
them,
sure there's some others.
are they
Yeah.
a little stronger to be able to take these guys on, or maybe it's got to be like a massive team up? Um, I kind of want, I had this problem with Haikyuu. I know you did not do what I'm about to say, but like, I want to read ahead because I want to know what this story is, and I know that Demon Slayer is complete, but
Yeah.
the animation is just so
So
beautiful that
good.
I kind of want that surprise in the theater when a moment like that happens where that other demon shows up. I want that surprise moment.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I am gonna wait to not read the manga for Demon Slayer. Haikyuu is a different story. I had
how
to read the
many
manga for that.
how many seasons are they going to have to do of Demon Slayer till it's wrapped up, or is this next season finishing it?
I'm guessing 2 more seasons, but I'm not totally sure. Because I know it's
Okay.
done, but yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't looked it up.
Yeah, no, I think it's an excellent show. And I do think the people who harp on it, I think when everybody says, "Oh, this show was really, really great," and the only nitpick you can give is, "Oh, it's a simple story," I think that's just saying that you just don't want to talk, you just don't want to like what's popular. And I
Yeah,
think it's a really, really great show and a great movie. And I
and
just finished
I
a
think
rewatch.
there's
Go
of the
ahead.
show.
I
Oh, I was
rewatched the
just
show because I wanted to watch the movie right
yeah,
after.
yeah. No, I just think also with Demon Slayer, and one of the reasons it's one of my favorite new generation shonen, like considering it with like the My Hero Academias. It's probably my second favorite behind Chainsaw Man, which is going to come out soon. And I think there's just a lot of nuance. Like even with simple, there's a lot of really subtle storytelling here, like with Rengoku, where it doesn't force feed you everything at the start for you to pick up on kind of the difficulty and like the tragedy almost of that even being a part of his happiest moment, and the rage that he feels, but it's never actually shown. I think there's a ton of that throughout Demon Slayer, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so good, and has kind of blown up, because it's crazy. It's the at the time of recording this, it's the 19th highest grossing R-rated movie ever.
Wow.
That's insane. And
Wow.
it'll likely go up after this weekend, I think, 'cause I think it made more money in its second weekend in the US than its first weekend. So it's I'm sure gonna pass Saving Private Ryan, and I think it could get, probably won't crack the top 15, but it'll be probably to 16 by the end of its run, would be my guess.
It's made $428 million worldwide.
Yeah, and it
And
is
the
the
US is 8% of that. That is
yeah,
insane.
and it's yeah, and it's the high, but in the US for first weekend box office, it's the highest grossing movie foreign language film ever.
That's incredible.
So it has done things that I don't think really anyone thought it would do, and it did that in the manga world as well. And so that's just like an added bonus to this movie. Like, not only is this movie just so incredible and it's beautiful animation, but like for a movie that is so connected to a franchise to do this kind of numbers, I mean, it sold more than The Matrix at box office, right? It's one of the highest selling R-rated movies of all time, is just unbelievably impressive. And so I'd highly recommend. I mean, I feel like most people who watch this have seen it since it's spoilers, but it's really exciting for the future potential of anime movies, I think.
I'm trying to look up like the list for R-rated, and I'm having a heck of a time with Box Office Mojo's new format here. Here we go.
Oh,
Um, I don't even see it on here, my guy.
well, it might not be updated, but
Well, I might look more into this.
because I believe so, because It Chapter 2 is at 473 million at the box office. Is that not right?
It's currently ranked 30th on Watch Mojo, or on Box Office Mojo, excuse me.
For
Um,
R-rated movies?
yes, for lifetime gross of R-rated movies
What's its
at
gross at?
$428 million.
Well, Demon Slayer has outsold that already.
Well, that's what I'm saying Demon Slayer's at.
Yeah. Well, I'm just must be looking at a different list because that has it at 18 for me.
Huh.
But
Well, you
but
send
it's
me that
one
link.
of
I'd
the
be curious
highest.
to see.
Well,
I mean, that
I'm
is
just looking
still a
at it on
huge feat.
Wikipedia.
That is still a huge, huge,
And
huge
yeah, my
feat.
guess is it will make about $500 million
That's
total
insane.
gross.
I do know,
Yeah.
shout out to Kyle, he works for a movie theater company, and that helps small movie theaters. And he told me, we were kind of talking, just having a conversation about like how small theaters can stay alive and things they can do. And I pointed out to him, I was like, man, I would tell all these people you're talking to all over the country that are trying to keep their theater alive, tell them that anime movies are huge. You're going to make a lot of money doing this. And he said that he had just talked to a guy who couldn't understand that he had this movie Demon Slayer had sold out the tickets they would give, and sold way more than Godzilla versus Kong, which actually made like good money for a COVID year, like really good money for the
Yeah.
fact that we're in a pandemic, like good money if we weren't. And I was just like, exactly, that is my point. You got to go check these movies out in the theater. And I hope they do more of these Fathom events. I always love going to see some of the
Well,
Miyazaki
I
Fathom
think
events and
they
things like
will,
that.
because I think we'll see more movies like this, that because we also saw with Made in Abyss had their instead of a second season, really they had a movie, and then they're going to continue, and so it just gives them an opportunity to have a little bit longer production period, because over
Yeah.
in Japan, I think the productions very close to releasing it. They don't have it ready for months like we sometimes do over here in America. So, but it gives them an opportunity to make the production even better. So it's
Did
just
they release that
super
in the West
exciting.
in theaters, that movie?
I think in select theaters, but it was mainly online
Yeah.
that they released it through. Yeah, through High
Awesome.
Dive.
Well, Annie Essays, thanks for coming on and joining us
Thanks
for
for
the
having
Demon
me.
Slayer
I'm hyped about it.
Mugen Train review. Loved the movie. I kind of want to go. Wish I could go see it again, to be honest, in the theater. It was just such a good
Yeah,
time. Guys, thank you again to our patrons. Go get some merch, like, subscribe, share. Go over to this guy's channel. Go check out all his video essays he's got on anime. He's got really good stuff over there. So, yeah. And as always, Mom, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
awesome. See ya.